What's up YouTube, Capital G here, checking out the first revealed cards from the upcoming core booster set Phantom Rage that have finally been revealed. I've been talking about how I believe that the Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's anime and our core booster sets have been completely disconnected, and at this point I'm just gonna say that it has been confirmed. I thought this was going to be a GX themed booster pack because I was hoping for some Yubel support, maybe Sacred Beast, but it looks like Konami has gone to Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc V, specifically Yuto and Shun, that means Phantom Knights and Raidraptors, as characters they're looking to get support. It's actually interesting because it kind of seems like they're turning Raidraptors and Phantom Knights into one archetype, which is kind of crazy. I mean, they are both from Heartland, so that's kind of cool. I don't know, maybe this means we'll get Rusty Bardiche back. I don't want to speculate too wildly, but let's go ahead and start breaking the cards down. We're going to start with, of course, the cover card of the booster set, which is actually an Xyz monster. Still no pendulums in any of these sets. Thank God. We hate pendulums. Anyways, this is Rebellion Xyz Dragon. It's a rank 5 Dark Xyz monster, 3,000 attack and 2,500 defense. Are those Dark Requiem Xyz Dragon's stat line? I feel like that could be its stats. Anyways, the materials are the same as Dark Requiem. It's 3 level 5 monsters. It says your second effect is a hard once per turn. Your first effect says if this card is Xyz summoned, it cannot be destroyed by card effects. Second effect says you can detach one material from this card. You cannot declare attacks for the rest of the turn except have this card attack. This card gains attack equal to the combined original attacks of all monsters on the field. Then if this card has a material attached that was originally a Dark Xyz monster, negate the effects of all other face-up monsters on the field. Dang, that's definitely a mouthful. Okay, so Arc Rebellion Xyz Dragon feels like it's perfectly in line with Dark Rebellion Xyz Dragon and Dark Requiem Dragon. Basically, Dark Rebellion Xyz Dragon is a card that I still think is pretty good at being a very big beat stick. If your opponent has a big monster on field, detach a couple materials, target that monster, steal some of its stats, and then try to beat the crap out of your opponent. This card feels like just like the next evolution of that, because basically if you drop it on the field, if your opponent has a bunch of big monsters on field, heck, even if you're the one that has all the monsters, you take the stats of everything on the field, and then you can just start laying the smackdown on your opponents. And I mean, obviously when you have a card that takes stats from all monsters on the field, you could potentially one-shot your opponent. The fact that it can also negate all monsters on the field as well, if it does have a Dark Xyz monster as a material, it's kind of nice. Some people might be wondering like, Cap, how do you summon this thing? Ain't nobody trying to use 3 level 5s. To me, this guy is, again, it's kind of similar to like Dark Requiem Xyz Dragon. You're basically only going to summon this card using a rank up, which is exactly what I'm going to talk about now. But yeah, just know that this is supposed to be one of those cards that obviously it's a go second card. It's a one-shot your opponent, wait for them to have a big established board, then try to summon this, negate all their monsters, and then just, pretty much kill them in one shot. The rank up is Rank Up Magic Phantom Knights Force. It's a quick play that's a hard once per turn. It says during the main phase, banish any number of dark monsters from your graveyard, then target a Dark Xyz monster you control. Special summon from your extra deck one Phantom Knights, Raidraptor, or Xyz Dragon Xyz monster that is in ranks higher than that target by using that target as a material. And N, this is what they put on YG Organization, is the number of monsters banished to activate this effect. This is treated as an Xyz summon, and you transfer the materials from the old monster to the new monster. It says for the rest of this turn, after this card resolves, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck except Xyz monsters. Okay, so this is how you're going to summon your Arc Rebellion Xyz Dragon, probably like 90+% of the time. And this also allows us to summon things like Dark Requiem Xyz Dragon a lot easier. Now, before you could pretty much only summon him using things like the Rank Up Phantom Knights launch, but you guys know at one point that card was banned. Also, that can only be played during the main phase. This card kind of solves some of the problems that card did have, like not being able to be used during the battle phase. I love that about this card. The fact that you can attack your opponent with like maybe a Dark Rebellion Xyz Dragon, then in that same battle phase rank up immediately, and then continue to attack your opponent with the, the Arc Rebellion Xyz Dragon and gain all the stats and all that stuff. Yes, you can't go into some of the nutty plays that, launch allows you to do, like maybe a True King of all Calamities during your opponent's turn, or Kali Yuga and stuff like that. But let's be real, launch has only ever been used for like degeneracy and kind of like gimmicky plays, kind of locking out your opponent's turn with Azathoth and stuff like that. This card can generally be used in like Raidraptors and Phantom Knights and just those type of strategies. And again, the real important thing is this card allows you to be used during the battle phase, and it's a lot easier to activate too, because you're basically only looking at just banishing one dark monster from your graveyard to kind of activate this card, which to me makes it a lot easier. Anyways, to the monsters, and this is why I say that Raidraptors and Phantom Knights are apparently crossing over as an archetype. The monster Raider's Wing is a dark wing beast monster, 0 attack, 4,000 defense. This card is always treated as a Phantom Knights and Raidraptors card, which what? They're basically just making it one archetype now. It says your first effect is a hard once per turn. If this card is in your hand or graveyard, you can detach one material from a Dark Xyz monster you control, special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. Second effect, an Xyz monster whose original attribute is dark and has a material gains this effect, cannot be targeted by opponent's card effects. This card's absolutely insane. I mean, geez, man, it can special summon itself from the hand or from the graveyard. This makes it actually like a really good discard fodder as well. We know that a lot of these combos where you're going from like wise tricks and force tricks and into, you know, your negates and stuff like that, you're always at some point of the combo going to have a Dark Xyz monster on the field, so it feels incredibly easy to summon this card. And even if you use it as your normal summon, you can just detach it and then get it right back from the graveyard by controlling a Force Tricks. This card feels absolutely amazing in my opinion. I love the fact that it's a Raidraptor and it's a Phantom Knight monster. We have the Phantom Knights of Stained Greaves. It's a level 3 Dark Warrior monster, 1200 attack, 600 defense, first and second, both hard ones per turns, but use them both in the same turn if you want. First effect says if the Phantom Knights monster is special summoned from or to your field, you can special summon this card from your hand, or then you increase this card's level by 1. Second effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard, special summon the Phantom Knights monster from your hand, except another copy of Stained Greaves, and increase its level by 1. Okay, another solid card, another card that you don't have to technically use your normal summon to get on field. It also works with Raider's Wing because he counts as a PK monster, and anytime a PK is special summoned, you can drop this guy from your hand. I'm liking the fact that, you know, these guys, or this PK in particular, allows itself to instantly become a level 4 monster, because usually you could only do that in PKs with Break Sword's effect and whatnot. So obviously they want you to be able to go for those rank 4s and just, you know, have more opportunities. But of course, if you do normal summon it, it can just be a level 3, and it potentially allows you to unload your hand further because you can banish it from the graveyard, and then you can special summon another PK monster from your hand. We got more PKs. This is the Phantom Knights of Tier Scale, level 3 Dark Warrior monster. It's a 600 attack and 1600 defense, both hard once per turn, but use them both in the same turn. First effect says you can discard one card, then send one PK card from your deck to the graveyard, except another copy of Tier Scale. Second effect, if another PK card is banished from your graveyard and this card is in your graveyard, you can special summon this card but banish it when it leaves the field. Man, I love that second effect, because you guys know, if you've ever played Phantom Knights, they banish cards like crazy. I mean, basically all the monsters like search stuff, and then all the spells and traps, usually when you banish them, the traps specifically, a lot of times they will like summon the monsters. So the second effect of this card is just going to be used if this card's ever in the graveyard and you're playing PKs. Just look for this card to be special summoned pretty much at the first opportunity that you get. Also, having kind of like a Dark Grepher type effect, I guess you could say, with the first effect is going to be good, because PKs like to set their graveyard up. They like to be able to send their monsters to, you know, search spells and traps, and they like to be able to send their, you know, spells and traps to revive the monsters. So this just feels like a really good card. Feels like this could be a very solid normal summon for the PK archetype. Anyways, back to the Raidraptors. We have Raidraptor Heel Eagle. This is a level 3 Dark Wing Beast monster, 700, and your first and second effects are both hard once per turn. Your first effect says if the only monsters you control are double R's, Raidraptor monsters, minimum 1, you can special summon this card from your hand. Second effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target a double R spell or trap in your graveyard, add it to your hand. I almost love this card, and here's what really kind of killed it for me. It's the fact that it's a level 3. I do not understand why this card's a level 3 at all. PKs have a lot of synergy between levels 3 and 4. Raidraptors, not so much. Raidraptors should just, in my opinion, they should always be level 4, because even though Raidraptors have an insanely good link monster, Raidraptors started out as a rank 4 deck, and then, you know, they got like a bajillion XC monsters that aren't rank 4 because they have like a bajillion rank ups. But in general, I'm not a fan of Raidraptor monsters that are not level 4. I feel like if you do summon this, maybe you could use it for like a PK play, or maybe you can use it for a link material. But if this card just would have been level 4, I would have liked it so much more. I think the graveyard effect it's okay. I mean, Raidraptors, yeah, they use their spells and traps. You might be able to get like one of your rank ups back from the graveyard. They actually have a counter trap we're going to talk about in a second. Maybe you can get that card back, but I don't love the card mainly just because it's level 3. The last Raidraptor monster is Raidraptor Strangulanius, which is a level 4 Dark Wing Beast monster, 1600, 1100. See, they made this guy level 4. Why couldn't they make the other one level 4? Anyways, the first and second are hard once per turn. First effect, if you control a dark monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of the turn, except dark monsters. Second effect, if an XC monster you control has material or has a material attached that was originally a dark XC monster, you can target one level 4 or lower double R monster in your graveyard, special summon it, but its effects are negated. Okay, so this basically just doubles down on your comboing out and basically just saying, hey, stick with dark monsters. I don't think that that's honestly going to be a problem. I do know that Raidraptors, a lot of times they do go for like the Samorg Link, and they do go for, you know, Cyber Dragon Infinity, and maybe you'll have to go a different route and get some different monsters, or maybe not just use, or maybe, you know, not use this card. But honestly, I don't think staying within the dark attribute is really all that big of a deal. I think summoning this card is stupidly easy. Just have a dark monster on field and then bam, you can drop this guy. Also, having a dark XC monster to reborn one of your Raidraptors from the graveyard, that also feels like it's just going to be stupidly easy to, you know, maybe get to. I think, and this is going to sound a little crazy, I think if something like Rusty Bardiche came off the ban list, I think you would gladly see Raidraptor players say, oh, we're perfectly fine staying in the dark attribute for the remainder of the turn. Anyways, we got 2 traps to talk about. I'll try to, you know, get this really quick. Raidraptor's Unbreakable Mind is a continuous trap that always counts as a PK and a Raidraptor card. Your first effect, and they're both hard once per turn. First effect says if you XC summon a monster by using a dark XC monster as material, you can target one card on the field and destroy it. If this card is, or if this face-up card in the spell and trap zone is destroyed by a card effect, you can set one rank up magic directly from your deck to the graveyard. Okay, so basically, anytime you're going for like rank ups, you get to pop something on your opponent's side of the field. It does target, and I wish it didn't target, but it's still a free pop basically, so I don't have a problem with that. And then the second effect, I think they're trying to use that with cards like Breaksword. Have this card face up, use Breaksword, pop this card, and then pop something on your opponent's side of the field, and then get like a free rank up from your graveyard, in which you'd be able to use that rank up maybe immediately if it's not, you know, a quick play. If it's just a regular rank up, they want you to be able to use that immediately. And then we've got a counter trap for double R's, and this is Raidraptor Phantom Knight's Claw. I mean, that pretty much just tells you that this is one archetype now. This is a counter trap with a hard once per turn. It says when a monster effect is activated, detach one material from a dark XC monster you control, negate that activation, and if you do, destroy it. Then if the material you detach to activate this card was originally a PK Raidraptor or Xyz Dragon card, one Raidraptor XC monster you control gains attack equal to the original attack of the destroyed monster by this effect. Okay, I like this card. I don't even really care about my monster gaining additional attack. I just like the fact that it's a monster effect negation, which we all know is good basically against every deck in Yu-Gi-Oh! And this card counts as a Phantom Knight and a Raidraptor. It's both, so it basically is searchable by both of the archetypes. So this is a card that you should be able to get to turn 1, and even if you can't go for some of the other negation cards that I was talking about, because you are locked into dark, being able to get to this card should still be fairly easy. So I'm liking the support. I like this idea of kind of combining Raidraptors Raptors and, PKs, because the characters were best friends in the anime, and now I guess you can really combine the decks, and I think this is some pretty good support, but I want to see what else is in Phantom Rage. Anyways, whatever you guys think, you leave that in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching. As always, subscribe if you have not already, and turn on that notification bell for daily videos.